wake up with the sun and struggle through the day. In every passing moment, watch your life.
What's up? What's up? I'm not going to keep you guys too long today. Just been a couple of days since I've done a live, I think. Maybe not. I feel like if I go for too many hours without talking to you guys, I start to miss you. Tips about the Kundalini. Golly, it's so funny that you asked that. What a synchronicity. This may be a really basic thing. So full disclosure. So I've got a weird thing about research that applies almost across the board with pretty much everything but archaeology. But as far as spiritual studies go, and a lot of different, like neuroscience especially, I guess neuroscience and psychology and just Eastern medicine stuff having to do with the Kundalini and spiritual energy and stuff. I tend to shy away from a lot of research because I want to find things out on my own, because I think that a lot of answers can be found by looking within. So I don't do a ton of research on certain things, and a lot of that stuff Ashley, my girlfriend, brings to me, and I've got other friends in the community and stuff who just bombard me with all this beautiful information. But I've got a really neat track record of learning things by looking within, and then I go do the research on, like limited research on certain things, and then I find them out. And Kundalini stuff is kind of like that with me. I was long time ago. Excuse me. A long time ago, I was on a mushroom trip, and I realized that when I was tripping, I felt this pressure right here in the front of my head. And then the next day, I was working on recording a song, and when I was singing, I realized I was singing through this area. My girlfriend has taken voice lessons and stuff. She's got a beautiful voice. She's an amazingly gifted singer. And she taught me that this is called your mask, and you sing through your mask. By the way, I'm going to bring this back to the Kundalini, I promise. I'm not dodging that. But she taught me that there's this thing called a mask, and you sing sort of out of this part of your face. And then I watched a workshop thing online with Drunvalo Melchizedek, and he talked about this sort of energetic, sort of unicorn thing, energy beam that sort of comes out of that area. Anyway, so I put them all together, and then I realized that if you flare your nostrils and you tense up this part of your head where you can feel these muscles on top of your head sort of tensing up here, that that was the same type of pressure that I noticed when I was on that mushroom trip, and it was the same type of pressure that I noticed when I was singing and all that. And then studying the chakras and stuff and thinking about the sacral chakra, or the root chakra, I realized that if you clench I don't know if men have Kegel muscles as well, but I guess where women would have Kegel muscles, or you have like your sort of your perineum area or whatever, and you flare your nostrils at the same time, there is this incredible Kundalini activation that happens between right here and your root chakra. It's really interesting that you have, if you flare your nostrils and you clench up, your Kegel muscles or whatever is down there, whatever happens whenever you orgasm or something like that. I noticed if you do it right now, there's nothing really all that mystical about it. But if you do them both, there's this, you feel this solidarity that happens between your root chakra and your crown chakra. And, as far as the Kundalini goes, that's one of the most interesting things that I've learned on my own. And then on that trip the other night that I sort of walked you guys through or talked about the other day, I would say that if you're working on chakral alignment and all that kind of stuff, and you can learn to activate the Kundalini by using that method of connecting the crown chakra to the root chakra through that dual activation method, I found that was really crazy effective, and I told Ashley how to do it, and in 3 seconds she was able to do it. So for the Kundalini, that's the one trick that I learned myself that I've never read anywhere. And she's like, "Where'd you learn it?" "No, I didn't learn it anywhere. I just, you look inside, you get some answers. So if you're already doing a lot of the other things and you want to activate your Kundalini energy, I think that do the nostril flaring thing and make sure that you're clenching these muscles, that you can feel this on top of your head sort of clenching. and then do the same with your Kegel muscles or whatever downstairs, and you can feel that sort of energetic connection between the top and bottom chakras. That's about the most I have to offer that I think is unique or novel. I think just about anything else, I could go into more detail on the Kundalini, but as far as what the ancients talked about and everything, but a lot of that stuff is either more readily available, or you can get it from better sources than me, or I have it in other places that I can direct you to that would make more sense than spending a lot of time on it. I don't specialize in that, but I'm huge believer in activating Kundalini energy, very much so. Somebody asked if I'm a vegan. I'm not, but well, I mean, that's a complicated story. So I grew up eating meat like 8 days a week, man, just living on meat. We ate steak all the time in the house, and we were pretty poor growing up. And as soon as we had any money at all, that's the first thing that we started doing. Mom and Dad started buying badass steaks, and we started living on ribeyes. But I switched to eating all organic stuff like 7 or 8 years ago, but still was eating meat. And it's only been in the last year that I've started trying to wean off of meat, and really only in the last few months that I've removed meat from my diet, 90%. And I still do. I don't eat red meat. I haven't had red meat. I guess I had steaks for some special occasion. My dad cooked a bunch of steaks at a big family get-together, and I had one of them. It was amazing. But I'm a big believer in cutting out red meat. Pythagoras, which a lot of people don't realize, was an amazing philosopher, not just a mathematician and stuff. He was an amazing philosopher, and he was really very much a Christ figure, a Jesus figure in history. If you haven't done a lot of research on Pythagoras, you really should. But he was a judge among the Greeks also, and an advisor to the whole judiciary and the government and everything. And he made it so that it was forbidden for judges to eat red meat within 3 days of a hearing or of a trial, because he believed that eating red meat impaired your judgment, which I think is interesting, because if you look around society and you see all the people that eat red meat, like I don't just mean your average meat eater, but like just think of the stereotypical. Like I kind of like looking at stereotypes. I don't live by stereotypes, but I like looking at them and seeing what the validity is to each one. And if you look at like the hardcore meat eater guys, you think like Republican, gun-toting, eating lots of steak and red meat. And these are not usually very balanced people. They're very left-brain, masculine people with a lot of machismo and stuff like that. I mean, I love my guns. I got a lot of guns, and I grew up as redneck as it gets. I still love my guns, but I don't like killing animals. But I think that's the thing for me, is I want to get off the red meat completely, which I'm 99% been off of that for months, and stop eating as much meat as I possibly can. Yeah, red meat's super, super bad. For me, though, I think the thing is, well, let me address the herb question real quick, and I'll get right back to red meat. Yes, I smoke herb. Yeah, but I don't do it, constantly. For a long time, when I was going through issues in my life, I would smoke herb every single day, lots and lots of it, and it didn't affect my productivity. I mean, I run a company. I take care of my kids. I'm a fairly productive member of society. I think if you have your shit together and you have good organizational habits down in your life, then there are a lot more harmful things to your productivity than smoking herb. These days I don't have to do it that much. The more balanced you get, the better your diet is, the better your sleep is, and the more mindful you are, the more you meditate, the less you have to smoke. But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it, or that you can't have a good relationship with the plant. And that's what I think it's all about. Everything in life is relationships. And it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Graham Hancock, and I refer to him a lot. But I mean, he's a guy that smoked herb all the time. And he quit because he realized he developed an unhealthy relationship with marijuana. And I'm kind of that way, If I don't want to get high, I won't get high. If I don't do it all the time. If I don't want to, but there's nothing wrong with it. Just have a healthy relationship with it. Let me cruise through here and see what I missed. I try not to look at the comments too much when I'm mid-thought, because I realize I derail on you guys. Okay, meditation. Meditation's a must. Meditation's a must. It's a must. There's no question. whether you go vegan, vegetarian, cut out meat, cut out alcohol, cut out whatever you want, pharmaceuticals, which I could get on pharmaceuticals if you want later, but I took Adderall every day for 12 years and needed it, and Xanax for anxiety, and I cut that out with meditation and psychedelics and cannabis, all in very, very healthy amounts versus something that was tearing my body apart and driving my nuts insane. And by nuts, I don't mean my balls. I mean driving me nuts and insane, I guess. You don't want to live on pharmaceuticals whenever you don't have to. That's something that meditation can do for you. Meditation's important. Hold on to that music question. I'm going to get back to that. Don't let me forget about music. Super important. Don't let me forget about that one. Yeah, you'll have to forgive the hair, guys. It is mad hot in here right now. It's like 25 degrees outside, and I've got the heater cranked up. But no, every day. So every morning when I wake up, my routine is sort of, I'll either get up and read like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, or some kind of spiritual book that I resonate with that moves me in some way, and then I'll do that for about 15 minutes, and then I meditate for about 15 minutes and think about it, and it gets you centered and balanced, and then I prepare my day in my head while I'm meditating. So prepare yourself for the things that you know you're going to encounter, and then prepare yourself for things that you may encounter. Everything down to a car wreck. You don't have to think about everything in the world, but just what could possibly pop up in a remotely likely scenario that could throw you off balance, and then think ahead about how you want to handle that. And meditation allows you to do it. And Ashley and I talk about it all the time. If you don't meditate, you can tell on the days that you don't meditate, you can see it in your relationships. It does have a spiraling effect. When you're off balance and off center, it does have a spiraling effect. And your day is so much more controlled when you meditate than when you don't. Talking to JC, you guys probably know him from some of the podcasts, and you'll get really used to seeing him. Talking to him the other day, or shit, maybe it was today. I can't remember. Anyway, was talking about the only thing that you really control is your intention. And if you're not mindful, then you're not in control of your intentions, or at least your intentions are not in control of what's going on in your life. And that's something I'm really big on, and that's a great topic for us to get into at some point, is the only thing you control is your intention. You don't control your fingers, you don't control your toes or your arms, you don't control your body when you get up to go to the bathroom. You control your intention, and then your intention handles all the neurological and physiological things that need to happen from that point on. Everything that you say, and you intend to think about positive things, then that's what you're going to think of. And your intention is the spotlight inside of your mind that you point at the thoughts that you want to contemplate on. That's your will. You control your will. You control your intention. That's the only thing you control in life, in the entire world. And the more of your pie chart of potentiality that you fill with your own intention and your own will, the more in control you are of your own life. So meditation is so key. You just and then what you do with that meditation is important also. I think somebody asked a question about how to meditate. We probably need to do a whole thing on that. I'd love to do that. I don't know if I don't want to kind of shaft everybody else who wants to talk, though. I'm sorry. A lot of people have a lot of good questions and stuff. What do you think? Well, the music. Let me get to the music thing. Come back with that, Logan. The music thing. So, oh God, I could get into music all day long. With music, it depends on what you want to do. When I go to the gym, I listen to Rise Against primarily. I listen to Rise Against, and it's just a band I like a lot. But it's the thing about music. I've done so many sort of internal research studies, thought experiments, and stuff on this, and then also just looking at acoustics and stuff like that, and understanding how resonance works on the psyche, and the tone of the music has effects on certain parts of your psyche. The pitch of the music has effects on certain aspects of your psyche, and the fluctuations therein. There we go. All right, other camera's back online. I don't know why it does that. It's a Mac. These things are supposed to never mess up. So with music, yeah, I mean, if we listen to a ton of sound frequencies in our house all the time. Go to YouTube, look up sound frequencies. They have different sound frequencies for for healing, for growth, for transformation, for for DNA reconstruction. I mean, there's all kinds of sound frequencies. So we do a lot of sound frequencies. We sleep with with sound frequencies on the radio or on the stereo thing, the speaker. And You can get nature sounds. I like the nature sounds. Nature has a calming effect on the spirit. So it'll be like a waterfall sound, like an actual recording of a waterfall with like 432 hertz behind it or something like that. You wake up, you dream better. We've never dreamed as much as we do nowadays, now that we've discovered all these different things. Lots of tricks to that. And then as far as, other music in your daily life, country music is very simple in structure. It's very simple in form. And so it will both appeal to and perpetuate more simple thought processes. I won't go into any more detail on that. I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that country music people are simple-minded. That's not the case. But it does appeal to and perpetuate more simple mindsets. It's less, as a musician, I can just tell you that it's factually, most country songs are just built around simpler song structure. You listen to symphony or orchestra music, it's the opposite. It's very complex, many layers, many tones, many pitches, many different textures of instruments, from strings to horns and all that stuff. Classical music is extremely stimulating for the mind and for growth patterns in neurology. What was after music? Who had the next question? Well, we'll just go. Logan, I remember Logan said something. What did Logan say? What do I think the world will be like once cannabis is recreationally legal? Oh, loving the live videos and posts. You are so awesome. You are so awesome, Logan. Thank you very much. That's awfully nice of you. What do I think the world will be like when cannabis is legal across the board? Jesus. I'll tell you what it'll be like. You're going to have a whole lot less people in prison. You're going to have a whole lot less people of color that are unequally oppressed and caught in a trap that's sort of meant for that very purpose. Not that white people don't get arrested for pot too all the time. I got friends that have been. Hell, I nearly have been myself. But once pot's legal, you have a lot less people in prison. You have a lot less people getting put away for bullshit that ruins their lives. And most importantly, I think you'll have a lot of people. My drinking cut back so much when I started smoking pot. It cut back a ton. And I don't care what anybody says. Nobody, well, very few people are the best version of themselves when they're drinking alcohol, right? Most people are not the best version of yourself when you're really wasted. And to that same ratio of people, that few people are a worse version of themselves when they're stoned versus when they're not stoned, right? As a guy who has had anxiety his whole life, I can tell you, and knowing a lot of people who have anxiety, using cannabis is a tremendous ally whenever you're battling anxiety. It's super helpful. So you don't hear about a dad getting stoned and beating the crap out of his wife and his kids, but you do hear about dads getting drunk and beating the crap out of their wife and kids. That does happen. So that's, I think, when cannabis is legalized across the board, that's what you're going to get. A lot of happy, playful dads instead of drunk, angry ones. That's the biggest thing. What age was I when I became conscious? That's an interesting question, too. Because when I was 5 years old, my dad had a series of books in the house that was like a Mysteries of the World series. And I picked it up one day, and I still remember I picked it up and I started reading about Atlantis and Egypt. And I'm not saying all this stuff is valid or that I'm a subscriber to all these ideas these days, but it got my ideas open, my mind open to these different ideas like Hollow Earth and UFOs and ley lines and all kinds of stuff. So my whole life I was always fascinated with this stuff. I read A Wrinkle in Time. I read all Jules Verne stuff. Was reading a lot of books on physics and stuff and metaphysics when I was in high school. And of course, the Lord of the Rings stuff too. But just about everything I read was really oriented on esotericism. I was always fascinated with Freemasonry and the Illuminati from the time I was very young. So as far as the age that I actually woke up, to be perfectly honest with you, I'd have to say I'm 33. It was 07172017. It was July 17th of this year when I would say that I was really awake. I mean, I ran a website talking about esotericism and the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group and the Trilateral Commission and false flag attacks. I mean, I did all that stuff 10 years ago. I had a website on holistic medicine and all these things. But I wouldn't say that I was awake in the way that I am now. I knew that, we were sort of in a matrix type of world, but there's levels to this stuff. There's levels to awakening. But as far as connecting to my truest, highest self in a way that I understood what the fullness of my potentiality was as a sentient being, the fact that we are all born gods of our own universe and being able to affect change in our own reality to just about any extent that we can imagine. That's what I consider the ultimate awakening, the ultimate achievement of Gnosticism in a person's life. And that didn't happen for me until July of this year. And that changed everything for me. But I'd always been studying this stuff, and I'd always been into this stuff way more than I ever knew was weird. I kind of thought everybody was, I didn't realize how weird I was until the last couple of years. No, we don't sleep with headphones. We have a really gnarly speaker. Matter of fact, I'm going to show this off because I never have it near me, but I happen to have it near me now, and I got to show this bad boy off. All right, let me see for the Instagram guys, and then for YouTube later for the podcast. This is a JBL Extreme. No, I am not getting paid by JBL because they don't give a shit about me. I am not that big. But I brag about this to everybody, or not brag about it, but tell everybody. My mom got one, my brother got one, everybody's got one because they're amazing. It's a Bluetooth speaker. The bass, the sound, everything is just phenomenal. Get yourself one. They have smaller ones. You can tether them together and put them all over your house. Control them with an app. They're amazing speakers. You got to get one. So we turn that on in the bedroom, and it's almost like having surround sound in there. And we turn the waterfall sounds on. What I'm doing on the website right now, and you got to just work with me, guys. It's taking a while to get all this stuff up myself. I'm getting more help, but I'm going to put all the links to my different playlists on YouTube on the website. So if you guys want to check out what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, what videos and stuff like that, I'll lead you guys in the right direction. The website's already got a rabbit hole link on it right now, so you can look at that. Jesus, it's so hot in here. Hold on, I'm gonna open this window. Don't tell Ashley, or actually do, but remind me to close it later because it's behind this curtain. I don't want anybody getting any ideas, Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Built-in air conditioning. Yeah, I've got... The thing is, on my YouTube, I can link all my playlists to the website, but I don't have playlists on my YouTube filled out yet because I just do searches all the time. I do searches and I go through my history and I rewatch certain things, and then I click on links here and there. But I really want to. I'm going to start making it a dedicated effort over the next few weeks and going forward in the future. Whenever I see a good video, I'm going to add it to a playlist. And then whenever you click on that playlist link on the rabbit hole page of the shamanicphilosophy.com website, you'll be able to get the full playlist. So if you go on there right now, it looks super bare. I don't want you guys to think it's going to stay that way. It's going to get a lot better. I just haven't. It just takes time. All right, let's see what we got. What are we talking about? Any insight on the ice cream cones used to shape and move stones in megalithic structures? So I'm assuming you're asking about the cones that's Badger Lab. I'm assuming you're asking about the cones that Michael Tellinger has found in South Africa. And that's the cones that I'm aware of. Is that the ones you're talking about, Badger? The cones that Michael Tellinger found in South Africa? I don't know what is my delay like on this? Are you guys hearing me in real time, or is it 30 seconds later? I don't know. Michael Tellinger is a researcher from South Africa. And I've been following him for, a decade for sure. And he has found these cones. He's found all these ruins, these stone circles all over South Africa There's like the Great Zimbabwe ruins, which everybody knows about, and then they're all over the place, all over South Africa. Yeah, and I heard there was one inside the Pyramid of Giza too, but isn't that the one that like some Arabic like sheikh or sultan or something sent some army to the Great Pyramid back in like the seventh or 8th century or something? They busted into the pyramid and they found a cone and a few other small things or something like that. Well, first of all, just to put it out there, I totally think that they were moving stones using some mystical methods, what we would call mystical, and they would just call basic science, construction science or whatever they would call it. Geologic, just a higher geophysical understanding of things than what we have. I don't know how they used them, obviously, but just so you guys know, one of the biggest areas of study that I'm engaged in right now and that I'm really dedicated to for the foreseeable future, being maybe the rest of my life, but certainly the next few years, is the work of Tesla and geophysics and trying to understand more about geology and electromagnetic properties of stone and minerals and stuff like that. So I would really like to be able to tell you that I think that I'll have some answers there for you in the future. But I definitely think those cones had something to do with being able to create some sort of or attenuate some sort of harmonic resonance that allowed them to move things. I just don't know how. I have no idea. Do you believe that we can build a mind palace for storing memory? You'd have to explain that more. I don't know. I think that we have one. I mean, I think that our mind is a palace. We have the ability to do some amazing things mentally. We can do some really cool stuff. One of the things that I'm enjoying doing, I haven't done it in a little while, but for a few months on and off, like everything else that I'm working on, I was working on imagination exercises, on just building your imagination and getting different parts of your brain to work with each other, like to do mental math and stuff like that. So you could do 4x4 multiplication in your mind, which is a teachable thing. And I did it by assigning color codes and stuff like that to the different equations and products that you were coming up with. And then that way, because if you do a big complicated multiplication problem or any math problem, the problem is we can all do like the first part and break down the equations and stuff, but you always lose track of what your products and sums and stuff were, and you can't carry it over to the next equation or the next part of the equation. So what I did was called Solving by Color, and that's on the website. I can't promise you that it's something that's going to make any sense to you, but I was able to teach it to a couple of my buddies and one of my kids too. So I think the mind is kind of a palace. You can do a lot with it. We just got to use more of it and teach your brain to. There's a mental condition called synesthesia. There's a guy named Daniel Tammet that I've been fascinated with since high school. 20 or 15 plus years. And he has synesthesia, and his brain, all the different parts of his brain talk to each other. When you're on mushrooms, the same thing happens. And he's able to like remember pi to the 25,000th digit or something like that. He learned conversational Icelandic in like 2 hours on his way on a flight to an Icelandic talk show. He's a British guy, and it's like the hardest language in the world to learn. So as far as the mind being a palace, I think it is a palace. We just have to learn how to use it better, and we have to become more aware of our senses. So like I'll do practices where I'll walk through my house at night, either blindfolded or in the dark, and just listen, smell, and try to feel the energy in the air. And you can feel when you walk by a couch, you can feel that there's a sound difference in that part of your peripheral sort of hearing range where there's softness, and there's more sound coming from here and there. And it's kind of how blind people work. So the mind is a palace. It's a beautiful palace. You just got to do the right things. Let's see what they got. Suggest a book which moved me. I'll get there. That's a good one. Do you think the government knows about things that they keep from us? If so, what do you think they hide? Well, holy cow. Yeah, they hide a lot. They hide a whole lot. The list could just go on. Hell, I could direct you to my old website if I still remembered it. That's all I used to do, is talk about the library of information that the government's hiding from us at all times. I've got their the FOIA files, Freedom of Information Act. It's an acronym, FOIA. It's the files that have been declassified. People file FOIA requests, and they can get government documents declassified, and they can you can go read them on the government website. And there's some crazy shit on there, just absolutely mind-blowing stuff that you talk to most people about it, and they won't even believe you. You know, like they think you just read it on some bullshit internet site, but like it's on the government website. Yeah, the government hides everything. It's crazy stuff. Books that have moved me. Well, so one in particular has been on my mind a lot lately is A Wrinkle in Time. My girlfriend just read it. I read it in like 4th or 5th grade. The movie's about to come out, and that book has just been on my mind a lot lately. So if you're going to ask me about a book that's moved me, I would say that is one of the most important books I ever read, and it gave me an understanding of four-dimensional time. It's a book written in like 63. Like 1963, it's like 55 years old or something like that, and it is absolutely life-changing if you read it. And it's a beautifully written book, but it's insane how relevant and how accurate it is to modern science and to life today. As far as when they if you're a part of this conscious community, reading A Wrinkle in Time will blow your mind if you've never read it. If you just read it and then realize that the people who, I think it was a lady that wrote it, she talks about different Jesus figures coming back over the course of time, Jesus and Da Vinci and Buddha and Gandhi and all these different people. A Wrinkle in Time is just an amazing book. It's something you should read. I finally started reading The Universal One by Walter Russell. Everybody's been asking me if I started reading it because I posted that video after it got in the mail, and then Christmas happened. And I was preoccupied with Christmas and kids and everything. But I can tell you just the first chapter, having gotten into it already, it's mind-blowing. It's kind of like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Oh, and for that matter, if you want to know, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are the most transformative thing that I've ever read in my life. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, transcribed, as they say, or maybe just written by Dr. Doriel in like 1929 or 37 or something like that. I can't remember. He was a member of the Pyramid Brotherhood, probably a high-ranking Freemason or something like that. Supposedly, he channeled Thoth and got information on how to find these tablets, and he went and got them and translated them. I don't know if any of that's true, but the point is truth, and when you know truth, you know truth. And the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are the most moving, most impactful thing I've ever read in my life. And I still read them regularly because I don't give a shit who wrote them, whether it was Doriel making it all up or it was Thoth himself. I mean, I've been on mushroom trips and visited with Thoth, and I don't know that I believe that channeling is what everybody thinks it is. Maybe I just don't understand it the way maybe I don't understand it sufficiently. Yeah, Mina, go back and read it. It you'll love it. You'll have a whole new respect for it. It's beautiful, just a beautiful book. But the Emerald Tablets are great, by Thoth the Atlantean. Not to be confused with Thoth Hermes Trismegistus, the Greek philosopher, who I believe is a totally different person, but does bring up a whole conversation we're not going to have about Thoth being a reoccurring spiritual construct that manifests time and time again over the course of massive spans of time. Thoth, Hermes, Pythagoras, Da Vinci, everybody was just, Newton. Everybody was translating the writings of Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, and I think that the original writings probably did come from Thoth the Atlantean a long, long time ago. It's the best thing I've ever read. The most important thing I've ever read. Totally changed my life in every way. Psychedelics. I think somebody asked about psychedelics. Yeah, Logan, you asked. I just did a post mushroom trip podcast the other day. I wasn't very animated. I was still kind of coming back to earth, but for a responsible, healthy adult, I'm not a doctor and can't give any kind of advice on that. But for a responsible, healthy adult, I can't recommend just any psychedelics, but I can tell you that when my kids are of age and once I feel they have a good grip on their life and on reality, I will personally make sure that I take mushrooms with my own children and have tried to take them with my own parents because I think they're the most important thing that a person can do. I've taken LSD, but I didn't have any kind of an experience with it. It was just probably not high caliber maybe. But I've taken a lot of mushrooms and they've done nothing but make me a better person, a better father, a better family member, a better, coworker. Just made me a better human being in every imaginable way because it puts a microscope on you. The last trip I had was Friday night. We ate like 5 grams of these penis envy mushrooms that were like Terrence McKenna's personal flavor of mushrooms, and that was I've never had a microscope on myself quite so closely. Came away realizing I had a lot of self-loathing and a lot of self-doubt and stuff I needed to work with. And a lot of things I needed to do to be more receptive to love and be more pursuant of love and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're a responsible, healthy adult, then I can at least tell you that properly sourced mushrooms coming from a trustworthy source, I can't say enough good about them. I do say try to stay away from small doses. Do it right in the right setting. Don't party with them, But definitely, if you do them right, you do them in a good, safe environment, and you feel safe and you feel good about it, you've done your research, and you treat the experience with the respect that you should, then psychedelics are almost always a good thing when done right. And all things, again, in moderation, having a good relationship with everything is important. More info about Gunung Padang. More than that post the other day. Did you just see my post, Gita? Gunung Padang is a pyramid in. Well, I don't know what you saw. If you saw me talking about it the other day on the live, I probably don't need to go into it again in any more detail than that. But if you just saw the post I made, I'm happy to kind of fill you in real quick. But it's a hill in West Java, down in the Southwest Pacific, down near Indonesia and Cambodia and all that stuff, sort of up between Australia and I guess whatever's down there, Korea or whatever. Anyway, you know where it is. Indonesia, Java, West Java. There's not been a whole lot of archaeology done down there, and there was a great big hill, and they found. Hi there, Christy. They found. I don't know. Somebody got the idea to start digging up the top of this hill, and they found out that it wasn't just a hill. There was a huge pyramid built on top of it, and it's a giant step pyramid that looks just like a Mayan pyramid. And they've done core drill samples on it. And there's a geophysicist and geologist. He's actually he's like a UC Berkeley trained geologist, I think. His name is Danny Hillman Nadiwajaja. And he's a renowned volcanologist. He studies volcanoes, megathrust earthquakes, and stuff like that. Very well-credentialed scientist without any question on his credentials. And he's been doing a lot of work there. They did some core samples. They found out that the pyramid, as far down as they've been able to drill so far, they know that it's 25,000 plus years old. Which, if you are familiar with the traditional dating of the human story of the story of human civilization, the origins of it, Stonehenge is 5,000 years old. The pyramids are supposed to be 5,000 years old. This thing's 25, right? Göbekli Tepe's 12,000 in Turkey, which has already shattered the whole world of human history to smithereens. This is twice again, at least as old as Göbekli Tepe. So Gunung Padang is absolutely crazy. The government came in and shut down the excavation site, kicked Danny and everybody out of it. More establishment scientists coming in and trying to do their thing, shutting down the information flow. Nassim Haramein, he's an astronomer. Is that right? Is Nassim Haramein an astronomer? I think so. He's done some work on Göbekli Tepe. I think he's on the astronomical alignments at Göbekli Tepe. I think if that's who you're talking about. Yeah. That dude's smart, man. I like. I'm a wannabe Nassim Harriman. Like I'm always looking for astronomical alignments at all the sites and stuff that we go to or that I look up online. I'm always trying to find, especially when you're there in person. Yeah, he's. I haven't read a bunch of his stuff. I've read a bunch of excerpts from him on different particular sites and everything, but I don't know a ton about him. Other than the fact that he's a hell of a lot smarter than I am. I'm good at taking information from really smart people like him, and then compiling it and making sense of it for other people like myself. If you would DM me Danny Hillman's contact, I would kiss you square in the face. Give me Danny Hillman's contact. That would just mean the world to me. House, thank you very much. You got tons of knowledge, man. Respect. Thank you. You're just awesome. Okay, so Harriman is a physicist. Great work on unified field theory, consciousness, and Egypt research. Okay. Yeah, I think I've come across him on he did work on the Giza Plateau, astronomical alignments there. Obviously being a Graham Hancock fanatic, I've come across Harriman's work inside Graham's work. Yeah, I'll look into him more. And I feel so bad sometimes. You guys throw so much good information at me and like good questions and stuff, but man, I can't I can't read it all. Like I can't read all of the works of all these great minds. I wish I had like 4 of me and one of me could just sit around and read books all day long. I read as much as I can. But I'm always trying to do these videos. I try to do podcasts. I'm working on the website. I'm working on like 5 books right now, and it's hard to get it all done. But these little chats like this are like my favorite thing, man. I really do. You stimulate my brain. I appreciate it so much. I'll look into that. All right. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions if you guys got them. I'm recording this for the podcast, so let me just drop it in real quick and plug it. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go to the website. It's still we're going to come up with the new websites in the works. It's going to be a whole new, much more interactive. But I'm even filling out the old one now on my own, just to give you guys a resource because everybody wants to know what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, what links I'm visiting, which websites, and all that stuff. So I'm trying to get at least, if nothing else, there's a rabbit hole link on the website and the shamanicphilosophy.com, and you can go check out the rabbit hole page and see what we're doing on there. And like I said, that's going to continue to get filled out more and more as I have time. So like, follow, subscribe, and share all the stuff. Make sure you subscribe on the YouTube too. It makes me feel good because you guys, everybody following on Instagram is so amazing. I want to get that YouTube number up just so we can reach as many people as possible. I posted a nice video that meant a lot to me earlier on the Instagram deal. Go have a look, because I want you guys to understand something before I go any further, and I really, really mean this, guys. The video I just posted earlier, I can't look at it because I'm on my phone right now. But the one I posted today that explains what the shamanic philosophy community is all about, that is entirely an advertisement for the love that you guys have brought me. That the love that you guys all share within this community and with each other, that video is entirely directed back at you guys. I mean, you guys have created this whole community of truth seekers and people that are trying to spread love and knowledge, and I wanted to sort of pay tribute to you guys with that video. So please share that with everybody you can. Anybody you think that's a lone wolf that's on their own thinking, they're up at night reading stuff that nobody else is reading, asking questions nobody else is asking. Bring your friends, bring everybody into this. Let's wake people up, and let's wake people up to the love and the knowledge and understanding that we're all trying to build together. So go check that out. And let's keep building this community. We've grown like 3,000% in very, very little time. Mina, you're awesome. Super awesome. Movie. Oh, Jesus, man. Movies are interesting. I just watched Valerian. That was a good movie. I just watched the new Star Wars movie. I've never seen like the other Star Wars movies, but JC made me go watch it. And if you want a movie that talks that demonstrates a lot of balance and truth, of the universal sort. The Star Wars movies, at least that last one, seems to be chock full of that. I mean, personally, you know, God, man, I mean, Gangs of New York is probably my favorite movie of all time, but, you know, for the purposes of personal growth and development, it's probably not what you're looking for. Anything with Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis is the man. What else with movies? I don't know. Princess Bride. It's like one of my favorites when I was little. Still love it. But no, Gangs of New York, that's just in a whole league of its own. I watched Silence of the Lambs when I was probably too young to have been watching that responsibly. But I'm a big Anthony Hopkins fan, so pretty much anything there I love with Anthony Hopkins. The Edge with Anthony Hopkins. Great movie. It's about... Oh, what am I talking about? JC just got me to rewatch Apocalypto the other day. Have you guys seen Apocalypto? We're going to do a whole movie review on Apocalypto. Jesus, I can't believe I left that out. Apocalypto is the best freaking movie ever. In my mind right now. Have you guys watched it? Mel Gibson? Check it out. I know the delay is not going to let me get an answer back from you. Gita, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to reach out to Danny. I'll see if I can't get him on a podcast or something. That'd be amazing. Get the man himself on a podcast. Yeah, Apocalypto is a good one. I never appreciated it when I watched it when it first came out. You know, I was into the Mayans and stuff, so I watched it then. But JC demanded that I watch it again. Now that he's woken up, and I've been kind of there for that process, seeing him waking up and growing, and he comes to me. He's like he's my creative better half, you know. So he kind of comes back. He's like, dude, oh my God, I went and saw Apocalypto. Have you seen it? Like, it blew my mind with all this understanding of truth and balance and stuff, which is, you know, we haven't gotten into that as much in this. In our little chats here, you guys haven't heard me talk as much about it, but I mean, there's truth in everything. And the good directors, the good writers, are putting that much more truth in their stuff. The reason you like a good movie is because it has truth in it. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true, you won't like it. That's what a bad movie does. But Apocalypto is just truth, wall to wall. And we're going to do a movie review on Apocalypto, maybe tomorrow, actually. He got sick today. JC did. I'm going to send your prayers to him. We're going to do a movie review on Apocalypto. We're going to start doing movie reviews, doing truth reviews within movies. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to like the way that we look at movies. You've never seen movie reviews like what we're going to be doing. Nothing like it. We're not talking about, you know, the usual stuff. We're going into the philosophy, the truth, and the balance of these movies, and just showing how all movies are trying to tell truth, and all good movies do. Okay, last one. I only got time for one more. Then I've got to go. Mina, I want to talk to you more about that when we have some time. I really do. That's such an interest. I wondered about that when I was watching it. Because, you know, if you've read Graham Hancock's War God, I might have mentioned that to you last time. That book a while back. I think we talked, but I'm so fascinated with the Hispanic community's relationship with their heritage, with their true heritage. Having a lot of Hispanic friends that I grew up with who were sort of, what is the word? Is it discompatriated? What is the word? When you become disconnected from your origins, and a lot of them came here. Not on the books and stuff like that, or even if they did, you know, they didn't come from, you know, I think a lot of them lost their heritage, and the Hispanic heritage is one of the most beautiful, and the Hispanic people are just some of the people are all beautiful, but I mean, just I've known so many good Hispanic people. They're just amazing people, and the culture there seems to have been lost. Like African Americans, like all people of color, I think there's a huge loss of culture there. But Apocalypto, for a Hispanic person, I would love to hear you have a conversation with you about that, what your thoughts are on that. Okay, guys, I think that may be it. And let me just tell you how much I love you. I hope that 2018, I know that 2018 is going to be amazing for all of you, for you and for your families and for your growth and development. And just remember, just keep in mind, man, you can do anything you set your mind to. You create your own reality. And when people shit on you, it's up to you on how you respond to that. And how you respond to that determines the situation you get into because of it. And that situation is going to determine the decisions you make as a result of that situation. And that's going to result in the next change in your life. Believe in yourself and look within. You got all the power in the world, man. You got all the love in the world. I'm here for each and every one of you. If you ever need anything, I am not omniscient or omnipotent or omni anything, but I am available. And I do care about you guys so much, and I'm so appreciative of you guys. So have a wonderful 2018. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. May the light be upon you. May life be within you. And may you be a sun on the paths of all men. I love you guys so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.